And that is how my son and I, at 6 years old, was able to tie me in Twilight Imperium 4 while simultaneously playing 3 different factions each. Hey, it's Chris from Legion Games. I'm going to be doing my take on the Fool's Gambit, where I part with my money on Kickstarter and other crowdfunding forums. I'm going to give you my Kickstarter Quickfire tonight. So we're just going to rapidly go through as many projects as I can, letting you know my thoughts, whether I'd back them, who should back them, or who should stay away from them, and whatever else comes up in the meantime. So if it interests you, great. I'm going to do a bunch. So tune in. You're going to get your money's worth. You're going to get your bang for your buck on this video. So let's go. Let's take a look. Gosh, and isn't it always more fun to watch other people lose their money or watch train wrecks? I mean, take a look. Let's go. Let's do it. Like, comment, subscribe. Shoot me a message. I love it. Look, I've found that people don't want this deep analysis of the Kickstarter games. You know, you put that out there, no one watches it. Everyone wants the quick hits. That's where everyone's going for. That's what people want. So why not give people what they want? Creature comforts. This looks like a kids worker placement game for 1 to 5 players. Hasn't raised $100,000. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. One, it's a worker placement game. And people are saying it's going to be an intro for your kids. Well, frankly speaking, you see comments on Facebook and social media posts all the time about, oh, my kid's already playing Agricola. My kid's playing Dead of Winter again. Like, they're just either ready for it or they're not. And I'm not sure you need necessarily a wide margin to bridge a lot of these games. And it's really funny. I see all of these quotes. There are so many quotes at the top of this page. Now it looks like they changed it around. So there were so many of these quotes that were all streamed at the very top. And they've got all of these, you know, oh my gosh, my kids love this. I'm going to play this. I'm going to put this. Well, the thing is, I'm not seeing it with the backing. Like, you know, you have all of these reviewers, previewers putting comments out there. And how many of these guys, I would love a census of how many of these guys who are giving it such rave reviews and such positive comments are actually buying a copy themselves. That is the ultimate test, I think, of a lot of these reviewers, and I'd love to see some statistics on that, but I don't think anyone will ever do it. So I just don't think there is this huge market for these games that are sort of the tweeners between the kids games and the adult games, because you have kids that are all of a sudden ready to play adult games. I mean, I'm playing Marvel Legendary right now with my kid. You know, there's no tweener game for that. So that's why I look at this. Otherwise, you know, a kid's game for $46 plus shipping, you know, as much as good wooden components as it has, do you want to pay $60 for a kid's game? You know, and God forbid your kid doesn't like it the first time you get it. So, I mean, that's too big of a risk for me to take. I'm not a big worker placement fan in general in the first place, so it's not even going to attract me, and I don't know on these wooden game components about how well the turnaround is. You either find people that really love them, or you're stuck with them and you're going to end up losing money on it. So I'm not willing to risk it. As great as this game might be, it just doesn't fit any of my niches that I would really be able to use. So I'm going to pass just for that reason. RPGs. I don't usually cover this, but since there's a little bit of D&D talk in the other games with Bardsung tonight, Immersive Battle Atlas. If the pandemic wouldn't have struck, I'd probably be backing this, because the gist was they basically opened up a book and you had these maps that you were pre-made that you didn't have to do anything with, that you could have your miniatures on. And now they've taken that to the next level and made it modular, and they've given 3 more books, and the pricing was good at the 48-hour early backer mark. And if the pandemic hadn't struck and we weren't playing D&D, and as the DM, I probably would have been backing this on day one. I think they make a great product. I think it's well supported. I think this looks terrifically amazing, especially if you're like me and you don't have the wherewithal, the crafting skills to make 3D terrain. I think even more so, this is something that I would go all in for, especially if you're like me and you want to use standees instead of miniatures. So standees would work just as well with this. So they have a lot of variety. And I would suggest that you check it out, because I think they make a great product in general. And I'm saying that as someone who is not a backer, did not support them the first time around, but have seen it in passing and looked at enough stuff in terms of what's out there for terrain-wise, both 3D and non-3D, that this is a superior product. So take that for what you will, if any of you are out there doing D&D and RPG stuff. Next up, Bardsung. I did a whole video on this. It's going to be about a 10-minute video. I'm not sure if it's going to be before or after this one's posted. Long story short, this is D&D heavy, super thematically D&D. If I hadn't have played D&D prior to all this, I'd probably be going all in on this in terms of gameplay. That being said, it reminds me too much of D&D Light, with not enough unique mechanics now that the rule book has been released, even though it's going to be significantly Kickstarter exclusive. I'm going to be actually canceling my pledge and passing on it unless something else really, 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 really surprising and overarchingly interesting happens in the next 7 days. So I think you need to look at the rule book. You need to see how D&D similar it is and whether or not that's a turn off or a turn on for you. Me personally, it was a turn off because I do not want to risk almost $200 on a D&D light that I would rather, again, sort of that tweener zone, just like Creature Comforts, that I'd rather either be playing D&D or I'd rather be playing a really interesting twist dungeon crawler mechanic. Nothing in the middle. So for that reason, I'm probably going to be canceling my pledge. Speaking of canceled pledges, Townsfolk Tussle. I had been all in on this. I actually just canceled my pledge earlier tonight. They're over $400,000. By the time this video goes, it's going to be done. So if you like it, you're going to have to late back it. Why did I cancel? Again, it's KDM Light. I had real concerns about a couple backers saying that they had tested it and just some of the faults, some of the balancing issues, some of the hack and slash issues. And I've got enough of that. I don't need more of that. I want something that's distinctly different, that's going to have its own place in my closet because of how much space that this one is likely going to take up too. As you can see, you know, I've got some battle comments that are going to take up a whole bunch of space that I just got. I don't need more. I need more really, really, really quality stuff. And I cannot look at this and say that this is that for me right now. It might be for other people. It clearly is. I mean, this has 6,300 backers. This is not going to be a small turnaround. Don't let the total amount fool you because they have not, you know, done what a lot of other campaigns would do and add 3 or 4 expansions. They stuck with the base pledge. They stuck with their guns. I give them props. I'm going to be following this at retail, but I'm not going to be spending the $100+ it is right now, including shipping for it. So if that comes back to bite me, so be it. I'm willing to make that risk. Let's go burn it, baby. Burncycle. This might also be done by the time this gets posted. Burncycle. It was an easy pass after looking through what Chip Theory Games has presented. You're going to pay for Chip Theory Games. You know that. The price point is going to be high. It's $140 for the all-in gameplay. It's complex. It's got 2 boards. It's got a lot of AP. I think it's mainly a 1 to 2 player game that is masquerading as a 1 to 4 player game just by the amount of overhead and AP and randomization that's there. And I think your diehard Chip Theory fans are going to be all in on this one, and I have no problem with that. This is a game that's made for the people that like their products to begin with. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just definitely not me. I am not their target audience. I've come to realize that. Until something changes from that side of things, I can't see myself backing or buying a whole lot of their products, and that's okay. To each their own. But, you know, I just say for those that are on the edge or not, this has dice, this has randomization. You're pulling chips from a bag, you're rolling dice to see if you can even do what you want to do, and you've got to manage 2 boards, the physical board and the hacking board. And so there's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of development that's still going to go, and I think there's a lot of positive things, but it's not something, again, I want to tie up nearly $200 in when I'm not in love with it. So for that reason, it was a pass for me. Escaping the Dark Sector. You know, this is an original game. This is sort of a pen and paper board game where it's all black and white. They've got their distinct, unique colorization or lack thereof. This is a reprint with a couple more expansions and modules. It's more of the same thing. So if this is a game that you're aware of, that you're familiar with, go and get more because I think it looks good from that side of things. I was never a fan of the original. I see no reason to get it now. Again, it's expensive for all of what it is, but it's different than a lot of stuff that's out there. So again, I'd say this is one that you either take an interest in or you don't. I think this one is probably more divisive than anything else because I don't see a lot of, you know, sort of half in, half outs with this type of game. I see a lot of you either like this sort of game or you don't. So take that for what you will. That's not the most deep analysis, I know, I'm sorry, but this is not my type of game. This is not the type of game that I'm used to, and I just don't have a whole lot of interest in it, to be very frank. It just never has caught my eye, and that's just disclaimer, you know? I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Next up, and why am I talking about this? The Death Goddess Izanami. So over $100,000. Why is this important? This is from the guys over at Axis Mundi, who are doing Senkokushin, which is going to be sometime early 2021, which is the epic campaign, you know, dungeon crawl-esque with multi-level legacy campaign interactions, you know, battles, things like that. And this is the model, the giant, you know, 100 and whatever millimeters model that they're putting out, but it's, you know, it's over €100. So I was really excited to see just what it is. I think it's a little gratuitous for me personally with that. I mean, that's not something I'm going to be displaying in my house with young kids. But I know a lot of people don't have a problem with that, and great for them. But I'm not going to spend $130 on that. I don't put models together. I'm not any good at it. I'm not a good painter. I've painted things, I can count easily on one hand. So that's not for me. Now, I was interested because they're also putting out a deck, a promo deck for her, and it's for a different style of encounter in the game that is coming, but you have to be getting a pledge level for this. So I'm not going to be paying this much just to get an alternative deck, especially when they're offering it as an add-on in the campaign later. So I'm glad that they're doing that and they're not just tying it in solely on this campaign. But I hope there's not a lot of this stuff during the actual campaign, is what I hope. Just not a whole lot of less KDM where they're offering just a whole bunch of individual miniatures that have nothing to do with the game during the actual campaign. So that's my piece on that. This is Rulebenders. What you're trying to do is literally bend the rules, and you're strategizing how you can do that to make it work in your favor in this game. And what you're doing is you're taking 4 of 6 themes that they give you, and they've got these generic pirate, dinosaurs, whatever historic themes, and they've got 6 of them. You take 4 of them, and you're manipulating your pieces along each of the tracks. And when you get to a certain point, you're able to change a certain rule in the game to hopefully be in your favor. Most points at the end wins. So there you go. Arabian, fantasy, dinosaurs, pirates, sci-fi, and zombies. It's another deluxeification game. You can see that with the price point over here. $49 is their subscribers pledge, $65 is that one, and $95 is with the miniatures and the metal chips. I don't think $95, including miniatures and metal chips, is worth it. If you're anything, you're going to get the deluxe at the $65. That being said, again, I don't see anything here that makes me really want to go and back it and play it. They've got the rules. They've got an example. They've got a John Gets Games movie. But for me, it's a pass. There's just nothing that catches my eye. It seems very generic. It seems very safe. So I think if you like the game and you like how it plays, I think it will play nicely. I don't think it's going to be super complex. I think it's going to be easy to get to the table. I think it's going to have enough depth that you're going to like it. But for me, there was nothing overarching driving me to go and back this from day one, or even having looked through it now. But it looks like a nice quality game. But no, I will not be spending my money on it. This fool will not be backing it. I'm a fool enough elsewhere. Next up, we have the Specialist. Now, this looks like a competitive Burgle Brothers to me. And why do I say that? Is because you're trying to do heists. You've got boards, you've got dice, you've got, chips. And so it's a little bit different than Burgle Brothers at the same time. And you're getting a lot more stuff, frankly speaking, but you're also getting a lot more price. So the standard pledge is 40 euros. The Kickstarter early bird price, probably over by the time this is even posted, is 55, otherwise 60 euros. That's a lot of money. Even though you're getting the deluxe content, the token, the chips, don't care about that. That doesn't make me want to back your game at retail. But you are getting the mini expansion, so if the mini expansion is good and they hit enough stretch goals, maybe it'll be worth it from that side of things. But unlike Burgle Brothers, like I said, you're rolling dice, you're getting specialists, you're revealing cards, you're trying to achieve objectives by matching them. And I would just be worried about randomization. And I wasn't a fan of Burgle Brothers because of some issues. And this one, I think, is a little bit more take that Burgle Brothers, a little bit more random in terms of some of the dice. But again, I think it's expensive for what it is, especially with the deluxeifications. And I'm really not a fan of the deluxeifications. So again, I don't have any problem passing on this. It just doesn't do anything for me. Shogun no Katana. Again, not a strategic Eurogamer, so this one is going to be severely biased. Know your biases. I have nothing to compare this to. I worry that any Eurogame on Kickstarter is not going to compare necessarily to Kickstarter or non-Kickstarter Eurogames because of the plethora of super good, well thought out, complex, tight, grindy, thinky Euro games that are already out there. And those aren't my words. Those are words of if you see posted anywhere else asking what Euro game they should get or if they should back a Euro game on Kickstarter. And so I have to go by that a little bit, knowing that there are so many failed Euro games that just fail to leave their mark. So when something like Grand Hotel Austria comes up, that has a proven track record, okay, that's one thing. When something like this, I think unless they're going to offer me significant discount, significant incentive to get it now, I think you have to wait. I think you have to wait on a lot of these Euro games. I mean, especially when the Euro game expansions or stretch goals in this case are miniatures. Because I don't feel like a lot of Euro gamers are going to go, well, I need these miniatures for my Euro game. Those two things, those two sentences, the Venn diagram of both of those things is not very big. That being said, it's a unique concept. You're making swords. I like the theme of feudal Japan a lot, but again, I think it's a try it before you buy it, pick it up at retail and see what happens. Or if you find out you really do like it, you can probably pick it up in the secondary market for a slight premium. So there you go. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Now, USS Freedom, I think this one looks great. I think the concept of it as an open sandbox sort of space exploration theme is very intriguing, but I think you're also running up against the competition because this doesn't have a known IP like a lot of the Star Trek games do, and I think you're also having a lot of people that are sort of looking over their metaphorical shoulder going, when is ISS Vanguard going to launch? Because that is exactly what ISS Vanguard is. Now, this is very interesting because I see the same people with the same sort of quotes up here that are super positive. I saw a couple posts about this on social media actually earlier today too. On any of these things that I see by other content creators is when they put out these positive things is saying, are you actually backing this? You know, you're telling me that this is, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's epic, different levels of play. Oh, the replayability is insane. What does that actually mean? Are you actually willing to put your money where your mouth is? I don't know. None of these quotes tell me that they're willing to actually back it. You know, and I think that shows because you're not going to incite backers if you're not willing to put your money there. The second thought that they have is, well, are they just saying that because they're getting a copy or they're played a copy and they want to be nice? I don't know. But it's only got 317 backers. It's going to fund. I mean, there's no issue about that. But if this is really that good, why are people not being so, why are they not going even further and saying, you need this game, I am going to be backing this game? And maybe they are in all of those things, but if they were saying those things, I would think that those would be, you know, the quotes down here in terms of what they're, you know, putting on their page, like, hey, so and so said that they're going to back this no matter what. And I don't see that. And there's a lot of quotes there. So that makes me wonder, what am I missing? That I think that brings into the thought of, why aren't these guys backing this? What am I missing that these guys who have had hands-on copy of playing it are seeing that I'm not seeing based off of comments and pictures? I mean, the art is beautiful. The concept is wonderful. I love the space exploration, the leveling up, the campaign work, the open sandbox type thing. But it just leaves this nagging thought in the back of my head, like, why am I backing this now when, you know, there's so much full backing I do already, and what else do they know that they don't like that I'm not seeing? So for that reason, I'm going to be passing on this unless something else happens, but it's going to be on my radar. But for me to actually be backing this, something drastic is going to have to change. I'm going to have to watch a playthrough. It's going to have to actually astound me. There's something else that's going to have to be there. And granted, I'm going to look at the rule book. I'm going to watch a review or two, but I just, you know, I'm just mystified by that dichotomy between the relationship of those two things. Super positive comments, not willing to be able to put their money on it. And some of it is about a fit. Thank you. Some of it is about a fit, but partially I think that goes to the review review. If you're just reviewing things that you know aren't a good fit for you and giving them a positive anyway, like, I mean, review things that you know you're going to like. I will say that about Rado, that Rado does a great job. He's not reviewing things he doesn't like, which I think clears up some confusion sometimes. Aqua Garden, I put a brief video about this. You know, Japanese game, super responsive publisher, Uchiba Koya. Beautiful looking game, beautiful looking wooden meeples, interesting looking sort of pseudo worker placement with a rondel. You can play it on Tabletopia. It's expensive for what it is, but you're not going to be able to get it anywhere else. I don't know, because this is a game, again, worker placement-ish, even though as much as I love the rondel and Glenmore 2 sort of introduced me to that, this is one where I think I would struggle to get it to the table as much as I like the idea of it. I love the idea of it. The idea of it is great. I love supporting these small backers, but if I can't get it to the table, it's sitting pretty on my shelf, and that's all it's doing. And so I'm $1 pledging, essentially, 100 yen-ish right now, but This is probably a down to the wire. I feel like the answer is probably going to be no, but they've hit all their stretch goals. They're adding a bunch more stuff. You get the mini expansion, you get the other little Arctic game that's an abstract thrown in as well. So you're going to be getting your money's worth, and you're not going to be able to get this at retail. So if you have interest in it, you're going to get it now or you're not going to get it. Sakura Arms. This is probably going to be almost done by the time this goes. I'm backing for $89. Basically, I'm going to be getting either one box with the promos, maybe nothing. I'm not going to be getting all 3 boxes. It's $100 included with shipping. It's just too much. You get 6 goddesses in each box. There's redundancy in what you're getting in each box. I don't like the fact that they did not give an all-in box for the people that were getting all 3. This was really designed as a retail campaign. I don't like that. It's $5 off. I don't think is enough. I hate the fact that all these companies use MSRP as a justification. We're giving you below MSRP. I'm getting it below MSRP guaranteed anyway if I pick it up at retail. So that means nothing to me. I think the concept is great, but like I said, I just got this huge thing of BattleCon. You know, do I have room? I have Yomi. Is this going to replace one of those? It's probably not going to replace that given the size of that. But is it going to be worth just getting maybe one box of 6 with the promos and just saying, here we go. If I want it, I can really pick it up later because you know it's going to be at retail. They've already said it's going to be at retail for 34 bucks. Or can I get it from somebody else? You know, again, so I'm definitely downgrading my pledge. I just don't know if it's going to be one box promo or nothing yet. And I'm probably, again, going to be down to the wire this time tomorrow night and deciding what I'm going to do. Because I like it too much not to just automatically cancel it like I did a couple other pledges today. But I can't also guarantee it's going to get to the table over those other games yet either. So there you go. But that being said, it's a quality game. You know what you're getting. It's not an unknown commodity. It's a very, 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 very good fighting card game. Tactical, 2-person, no doubt. But you have to deck build. Unlike a lot of these, like Yomi, like BattleCon, like Exceed, you're deck building. You're taking 2 goddesses. They each have cards. You're taking 10 cards from between the 2 of them, 7 normal and 3 special, and you're having to build. And sometimes you're just going to build wrong, and it's going to totally mess you up. And if you're not okay with that, you're better off with something like BattleCon or Exceed, where the deck is there, and you're just learning it, and there's no variability. But if you want more control, this gives you more control. Catching the Snitch. You've already heard my thoughts on this. Catching the Snitch. You funded, it passed all its stretch goals, and now it's really slowed down. Night Models, I think, with their previous Harry Potter game, they showed that with the skirmish game that they were really more models than game. And again, I don't really have the confidence that that has changed with this, especially with the way the first campaign was canceled. The $20 reduction in pledges, 20% off difference, which makes me think, does it really even need to be in that high in the first place this time around? Even the models look very delicate to me. I worry about a lot of those getting broken, and I'm just not sure. This game reminds me of Korra, the Pro Bending League. Is how much game is actually there, and how much is it just relying solely on the IP to make up for the faults or to cover up the mistakes, not mistakes, but just the how much is it relying on the IP to sort of glaze over and cover up the faults with the game that make it, either the difference between amazing and great or great and just kind of good. That's what I'd be concerned about. Because if you're probably going to go for the higher level pledge, let's just be honest here. It's $155. You're talking about $200 including shipping. And you're getting a lot of stuff, but I mean, and they do a lot of Kickstarter exclusives, excuse me. But I just don't see it right now. I just don't see it. I think it's too big of a risk. You talk about Steamforged games having a bigger risk. Well, at least they've delivered on the Resident Evil and the Devil May Cry games with positive stuff. You can say whatever you want about the other games, but these guys don't even have that track record. And so this is another reason I would say wait, see what the reviews actually come out. You can always get this later. This is going to come up secondary market guaranteed. But I think this is a buyer beware one for me, regardless. Last up, Pachacuna. This is very interesting, very unique, and I think thankfully it is doing as well as it is. I think it's amazingly well off, given the fact that they've put a lot of, you can tell the effort that's gone into this, the time, the research in the Peruvian background. And you're a llama, you're going along a path, you're either along the green path, the grasslands, or the black path, the mountains. It's a pick up and deliver. You're trying to get all 7 of these resources that are around the sides, and you're also going to be using the resources at the same time to try and get more llamas to be able to deliver it faster. I love the concept of the two different paths because you're picking up the hexes and moving them, which also makes your path better, but might make your opponent's path easier to get from one place to the other. I do not like the pick up and deliver. As much as I'm an abstract guy, pick up and deliver is not my jive. And so I really wanted to like this game, but watching the pick up and deliver aspect of it was really a turnoff. So I am glad that it is doing so well because I think it looks like an amazing game, but I know myself enough that this is not one that I would like playing as much as I like abstracts in general. So for that reason, it was a pass for me. It's priced okay. It's priced just like the Japanese one with a lot of these sort of foreign market games that come from other backgrounds. It's going to be priced a little higher, and you have to expect that because it's probably not going to show up on the secondary market and through a lot of the usual retailers like it would otherwise with a lot of the regular channels through a lot of the regular publishers. So you just have to be aware of that. So take that for what it is. I think it looks beautiful. I think there's no complaints about that. It's just whether or not this is a type of game for you. You have to like both abstract, a little bit of take that because you are moving the tiles, you know, in that sense, and a little bit of, you know, pick up and deliver. And for me, it was the pick up and deliver that really got it out. So there you go. So that's it right now in the Kickstarter Quickfire. I was hoping to do maybe a couple of the upcoming projects as well, just a few quick thoughts in the Quickfire Challenge. I'm not going to do that this week. There's too much other stuff going on, you know, in terms of my life. So that is what I'd like to do a little bit of a split of in the future in terms of the Kickstarter Quickfire Challenge, the Fool's Gambit, being myself again. Subscribe if you want to see that. Let me know if you'd like a split between what's on there right now and what's upcoming, because I like looking at what's upcoming too. And I think December is going to be a surprisingly stronger month than I think November was for me, at least personally. I've ended up canceling a lot of my pledges. I'm also going to be doing a couple more reviews, hopefully, and just maybe unboxings. I've got a couple new things that I'm looking at doing, and I'm just going to be trying to do some things that I really liked. My new review series is going to be just the 5 and 5. You know, 5 minutes, 5 points, a review of a game, and let you know my thoughts on it. So I'm going to hopefully have one up soon in the next couple days, and you can take a look and let me know what you like or don't like, and we'll just kind of go from there. So as always, leave me a comment, leave me a whatever, and cool. Thanks for watching. Stay classy, but don't get hurt.